All right, to this a suggestion via channel member. Let's go and jump into the video immediately. Guys, as expected, Chicago is definitely going to be suffering through some type of budget gap for the year 2025. Again, they've spent, upwards of $600 million on the migrant crisis. They were completely fine with it, but I guess they thought that the federal government was going to say, you know what, hey, listen, guys, I see you guys are going through it. We're going to go ahead and give you some more money. Listen, bro, no, they're not. Okay. Like what you did when you decided to basically say, hey, listen, I want to get closer to the Biden White House. So we're going to take as many migrants in as humanly possible because most likely the people who voted for him and, that follow Kamala Harris, et cetera, are going to be super hype and happy, let's say, about the concept of illegality. Right. So they'll give us some money, bro. They were never going to give you money, bro. They were never going to give you money. You believe that? You fell for that. And you're the mayor, Brandon Johnson. You're the mayor. Okay, let's do it.
Welcome back. The city of Chicago is facing a nearly $1 billion budget deficit for fiscal year 2025. And the mayor says everything is on the table to fill that hole, like raising property taxes, a hiring freeze, and cuts to city services. Ninth Ward Alderman Anthony Beal joins me now. Alderman, thanks for tuning in this morning, checking in with us.
Well, thanks for having me. Good morning.
Good morning to you. How did we get to this point?
Well, we knew that this cliff was coming years ago. We knew we had a pension deficit that was coming. And we knew that, coming out of the pandemic, things were still slow. Coming out of the pandemic, downtown is still recovering. And so we've been looking at all these different things going on that really caused this hole. But we didn't do anything to prepare for it. We spent all the COVID money creating programs and creating additional jobs. And now that COVID money is running out, that's adding, more deficit to our revenue on a day-to-day basis. So we didn't do anything last year to raise property tax fees or fines or anything, and we just kind of punted last year. And that also added to this hole. And so it was a compound of really bad judgments that really got us here.
It sounds like you're almost blaming yourself for this. Was it you? Was it the mayor's office? Who's to blame?
Well, it wasn't me because I voted against every budget the last 5 years. And so it was definitely the guidance of the administration that really pushes the agenda as far as our budgets are concerned. And so when you look at our budgets, it's the mayor's responsibilities to present us with budgets. And, I've been fighting tooth and nail about all these bad decisions that have been made. And it's just right now, it's not enough of us in the city council to, really right the wrongs that are going on. When you look at the fact that we spent $814,000 on a wrought iron fence during the pandemic, knowing that we have a deficit, why would you do something like that? Why would we spend over $600 million on migrants when we have a deficit like this? Why didn't we have a hiring freeze or start furlough days back in March and April if you knew we had a deficit like this coming? And so there was no preparation. So it's just bad decisions going forward.
Bro, go ahead and make this man the mayor. He seems to be a little bit more collected. All right, let's say this here. He doesn't seem so wasteful. He feels, moderately fiscally conservative here. That's a great thing. All of these things are great things, right? Like point out the inconsistencies in what Brandon Johnson is in fact doing to Chicago, bro. Like point them out. Why did you build an iron fence during COVID? Let me guess. The money that you were getting, you thought that was going to be something for life, right? For your city. That's not the truth here, bro. Okay. So pay attention to the money you had before you started getting injected, let's say with funds from the federal government, and utilize that specific, budget as your budget going forward still. Do not get comfortable with surpluses. Surpluses never last.
Thank you for clarifying that in your position on those issues. Okay, so we're in this problem. We got to do something. What would you do to plug the hole?
Well, again, we should have had massive a hiring freeze outside of police and fire. And I'm glad that the administration saw the error of their ways and reversed course on police and fire on the hiring freeze. We should have had a hiring freeze back in March and April. We should have been looking at possible furlough days like we did years ago to help plug this gap. But none of those things were done. We just kept spending, and kept spending.
Oh, yeah.
And now we have a hole, and we want to blame CPS on the $223 million hole that we have this year for not paying their pension payment. However, if we had not spent $600 million on the migrants, we wouldn't have a deficit this year going forward. And so we have created this disaster that we're in. And now we want to point fingers and blame everybody else for the bad decisions that this administration has been making.
Okay, I want to ask you.
I mean, listen, guys, you got to understand, like, accountability seems to be moderately kryptonite to some individuals that refuse to believe that the things that they're actually, like, for example, their wokeness, for example, they think that that is something that's going to pay you money. No, it's not going to pay you money, bro. Like, look at the people who, go super woke. What happens to them, bro? They lose all of their stuff, bro. There's no difference between someone that is hyper left and then someone that is hyper right. There's no difference, bro. They have the same endpoint here. They actually may even agree with how they want to get some of the solutions done. Think about that. Think about how crazy that is for a second here. All right. The extreme in any direction is still a literal extreme. All right. Stay in the middle for the most part here, and start to look at what's happening here. The migrant crisis was absolutely wild. All right. The fact that the border under Trump fell down 94.7% should be indicative of exactly how you try to control your border, at least. Right. No one should be surprised here. Right. If Chicago says, well, don't worry, we'll go ahead and take the migrants. Sure. Why not? Right. We'll worry about the budget later. Bro, what are you talking about? Like, I expect this thing to start happening. The same thing here in Denver, specifically Denver. I expect it to happen with Karen Bass out in LA County and New York City. I expect these things to start happening. Listen, taxes are being raised all over the place. Why? Because so many states have decided we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and basically host sanctuary cities. For the most part, we're going to host them, and all the money waste that's going to be used during that process here, right, is just going to be funded somehow. Yeah, we'll just raise the taxes. That's why your taxes are going up in your neighborhoods, guys. Like, come on, what is this here?
About something you just mentioned there, you called the fact not to include police and fire in the hiring freeze a reversal of a decision from the Johnson administration. They're saying it wasn't a reversal; that was the plan all along. Did they get pushback, and then they decided, oh, maybe we shouldn't include them in the hiring freeze?
Yeah, absolutely. All the documentation that we got, everything that went out, and it was a total hiring freeze across the entire city, including first responders. And so there was a lot of pushback, a lot of aldermen. The FOP was pushing back. The Firefighters Union was pushing back. Aldermen were pushing back, saying that, we're already 2,000 officers short. Now you're going to freeze hiring, you're going to not pay overtime, and we still are dealing with carjackings and smashing grabs and murders and all kinds of CTA issues, and now you want to cut back? That was just a bad decision, and I'm glad they reversed course, but it was definitely a reversal.
Well, that's the end point to the majority of the people that are running from the left anyway, right? Get rid of all the police because police are bad, right? They make people feel bad. They care about how things make them feel rather than the actual the logical truth of the matter here. You need more police, specifically in a place like Chicago that is absolutely riddled with crime and criminality, specifically the south side of Chicago. Right, bro, bring the National Guard out there, please.
Interesting. Okay, so I want to switch gears here. Several Chicago aldermen are calling for the mayor to fire one of his top aides after a 2021 podcast interview just resurfaced. Let's listen in, and then I want your reaction.
Let's hear it.
If I die, especially at the hands of pigs, don't name after me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want a piece of legislation named after me, a road, none of that. But I would be honored if that got more folks to abolition.
So, Alderman, that was allegedly the voice of Kennedy Bartley, Mayor Johnson's managing deputy of external relations. She was just given a promotion of sorts. Your reaction?
Well, first of all, it wasn't allegedly. That was her. And those are her views, and those are the agenda that her and her organization have been pushing here in the city of Chicago. And, I'm sorry that she wasn't thoroughly vetted, and she should not be on the payroll. And, I actually joined the course or the choir to have her removed immediately. She should not be on the government payroll. She should not be paid by taxpayer dollars. And if these are the type of people that the mayor wants to surround himself with, then, that explains exactly why the city is in turmoil and chaos that you see right now. We are in the middle of a dysfunctional administration. When you fire 4 people in IGA for no apparent reason, those were 4 African-American women that were doing a great job building relationships, but then you hire someone who's radical to be over them with those kind of views. I think we are definitely in troubled water right now, and we need to make sure that she gets fired immediately and be removed from city government.
Okay, guys. The last part, yeah, okay, it's expected, bro. Like, what do you truthfully believe that the conversations are when the cameras are off, guys? So over there on that side of things, guys, like pay attention. Like the ones who are like extremely in one direction, pay attention to the conversations that they're having. Okay, like just seriously, you'll start to realize that that is just the overall consensus. Right? It is what it is here. Okay, it is what it is, and I'm not sure that's going to ever stop at all until people learn to kind of take responsibility and accountability for their own specific actions. If you are put in a position where that is your life, okay, where like that is like a plausible thing that can actually happen, how did you get in that position? Did the cops specifically pull you over there and put something in your hand, or did they force you to start moving erratically? Like, what is it? What exactly did they do in this context here? That's obviously not trying to specifically blame anyone that has been involved in a situation like this, but understand a lot of the times when you're dealing with police, bro, you have to understand like they could have been coming from some terrible scenario. I'm not trying to back them 100% in this context here. Just understand my words here for a second here. You never know where this person is coming from, what they just saw. Okay. It is literally best to just comply. Under no circumstance, attempt to litigate a single thing on the side of the road. That's what the court's for, bro. Okay. If that guy is wrong, he's wrong. But listen, let him be wrong, because there's nothing you can do against a sovereign citizen. Okay, nothing. There's nothing you can do against someone that walks around with qualified immunity. So why are you sitting there fighting it? Right? You'll let one of them investigate one of themselves? Guys, come on, this is ridiculous. It doesn't work. It's irrelevant, bro. All right, let's just be real here. So do it in the courts. That's it. Okay, and the people who are trying to litigate things on the side of the road are normally the ones who end up in just massive amount of trouble, because again, you are trying to litigate something with someone that has absolute immunity here. Why are you bothering? Just get him out. Just get him away from you as fast as humanly possible. Those are the rules going forward. Remember that. All right. But all right, listen, guys. You guys all have an absolutely amazing day. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. In the meantime, I will catch you guys later.